work ethic, integrity. Had the opportunity then later on, of course, to meet his family and see just what a fine dad and husband that he is. It's been a great honor to work with him on the Education Committee, because here's a person that has an extreme desire for the betterment of the education community in Oklahoma. Parents, children, teachers, the whole ball game, if you will, of being concerned and leading our education establishment. So when we found out that Adam was going to run for this position, many of us are extremely excited. Man of integrity, man with a hard work ethic, a man with vision, intelligence, very smart, and just has a desire to do the right thing. So if you would, welcome Senator Adam Pugh.
Well, good morning, everyone. My goodness, I am honored to have all of you in attendance today. I'm just going to cut right to it because I've been thinking about this for quite a while. I'm in. I'm running. Thank you. So in case you were wondering why I asked you to be here today, I'm officially declaring my candidacy to be the next elected state superintendent in the great state of Oklahoma. Thank you. But I can't do this by myself. And I think we all know, as parents and concerned citizens, the education system doesn't work without a lot of people who care about it and want to fix it. And so it's important, just before we begin, that I introduce a lot of really important people here today with me. I've got friends from my military time, men and women that I served with, that I flew with, people that were mentors for me, people that I learned leadership and followership from in very tough situations around the world. I've got my neighbors with me, moms and dads who send their kids off to school every day, where we've built a community. And we bake bread on the weekends, and we share each other's successes and challenges, and we just do life together. And I'm honored to have all of them here with me as well. My business partner, Mo, is with me. We're kindred spirits. We met many years ago. He's a retired Marine, and you'd know it as soon as you talk to him. We met in business school and just hit it off. And we've started a thriving business, almost 5 years in existence now. And we just get to serve our state, invest back into the economy here, give young people opportunities to stay in the state of Oklahoma and thrive and serve the aerospace industry. There's educators and teachers here, men and women that I've leaned on as chair of education and asked questions and had to learn from as we've navigated some challenging times in the state of Oklahoma. Folks that became my confidants, and I asked questions about what was happening inside of classrooms, and I visited, and I got to see firsthand the successes that they were having in their schools around the state, and how the State Department of Education could be a partner with them and a resource to help them be successful and uniquely serve their communities, which we know are different in our 500 school districts around the state. I've got my in-laws here. I'm fortunate that I married into the best family in the state of Oklahoma. I've never met anybody more Shawnee proud than my father-in-law. And he's brought a lot of his Shawnee friends here with him today. I'm blessed to have my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law and my nieces and my nephew. I've got my cousins and uncles here, and just all kinds of supporters. I've got my Senate colleagues that are here. I don't think I would have been able to accomplish half of what we've done as a Senate Education Committee. You've heard me say many times the most important numbers in that building are 25, 51, and 1. Nothing at the state capitol happens by one person. That's not the way our government functions. And so I've got tremendous colleagues who are here with me to celebrate this announcement today, and I wouldn't have been able to accomplish what we accomplished without them. And of course, most importantly, I've got my wife Sarah and my 3 little kids with me today. The best decision I've ever made was when I asked Sarah Byers to marry me. Thank you. And we've got 3 little turkeys with us, and that's why almost 6 years ago I walked into Greg Treat's office and I said, Mr. Pro Tem, I'd like to be the chair of education. And I know that surprised him. But having 3 little kids, and the only candidate in this race now that's actually got kids currently in school, I was living every day what's been happening inside of our schools and in our classrooms. And I think it gives me a great perspective on how to serve teachers, to see what they need, the resources, and how we can be strategic and precise where we direct our tax dollars so that they make the most impact to a young person's educational journey. Educating a child is the most personal thing we do as Oklahomans when every day hundreds of thousands of parents drop their kids off in a school around the state. It's also the most common experience Oklahomans have. And so it should unite us. We should use the idea of education as the tide that lifts all boats. It should be a uniting force, that it gives kids opportunities, that allows them to find who God's called them to be, and provides them with the skill set to be an engaged and productive citizen, and to stay in the state of Oklahoma and serve their fellow Oklahomans as they enter the workforce. I can't do this alone, and that's why it's important that I recognize that this will not be about me. This will be about us, how we together create educational opportunities around the state so that we can thrive. There's one person who's couldn't be here with me today just because of distance, and it's important I talk about her. You've heard me say many times, my mom is my hero. And, growing up, being raised by a single parent who worked 3 jobs, I learned a lot about the virtues of sacrifice and humility, and saw a woman who would do anything she needed to do to make sure that my sister and I had a better life. And if you've met my mom, she is a wonderful woman, but she was hard on my sister and I. She was hard on us because she cared about what our future was going to look like. And so education was the most important thing that happened inside of our home. And so because of my mom, my sister and I were the first ones in our family tree to go to college. And I don't think I would be here before you today if it wasn't for my mom and for those values that she instilled in me because of the value of education. So Mom, I love you. I'm sure you're home praying for me right now, and I'm going to need it, so I will gladly take it. But thank you so much for all that you've done for me. Finally, while we know that the most important thing in a child's education is what happens inside the 4 walls of their own home and their moms and dads, when they get dropped off at school, having a highly qualified man or woman in front of that classroom every single day is a game changer for kids. And I think if we all stepped back, we could think about 1 or 2 or even several teachers that made a lasting impact in our lives. I can tell a story about when I walked into a freshman civics class in 1992, and I knew I was walking into a hard class with a tough teacher. Mrs. Lonergan. But man, she made me fall in love with civics and history and government. She made it all come alive. And many years later, when I first decided to run for the state Senate 10 years ago, she was the third person I called, outside my mom and my sister. And I said, Mrs. Lonergan, I owe you a thank you for all that you have poured into not just me, but thousands of students over the course of your career. Unfortunately, she passed away before I was elected. But I want to carry on her legacy by ensuring that every child has a great teacher who believes in them, who makes their educational journey worth it, makes the content in the classroom come alive because they believe in them and they inspire them. And so, Mrs. Lonergan, I know you're looking down. I just want to say thank you so much for what you did for me back in 1992. I don't think I could be running for this office as it wasn't for your inspiration. And so my hope is, as I go around the state, my campaign won't look any different than what I've done as a senator, really. I'll spend time in a classroom like I have every single Friday since the day I was elected. I'll spend time meeting teachers and hearing their challenges and celebrating their successes and working feverishly with my colleagues at the Capitol to get the resources right inside the classroom. I'm proud of the things we've done over the past few years. We have led from a conservative perspective with huge targeted investments in the two largest teacher pay raises in state history. We changed the funding formula to make sure that dollars went directly to students, special needs and special abilities. That hadn't been done in over 3 decades. Provided what I'll argue is the most pro-life piece of legislation this state has seen in maternity leave for teachers. Not forcing a teacher to choose between being a mom or their career, and telling them you're important and we need you back in the classroom. And so we'll allow you to take time to raise your kids and then come back when you feel you're prepared to be there. We've made investments in the most robust literacy initiative in the country. And I'll ask you to join me on that mission. Every child in the state of Oklahoma should be gifted with the ability to read. It is literally the foundation of everything else that will happen inside of a school. And we should doggedly pursue making sure that every kid, by the time they leave 3rd grade, is reading on level and is able to fall in love with learning. Thank you. 3 years ago, we invested $150 million into school security initiatives to ensure that every school in the state of Oklahoma could hire additional security personnel or make the necessary infrastructure changes so that when a mom or a dad or a grandparent drops their child off at school every day, they're physically safe first, they're emotionally safe, they're mentally safe, and they're spiritually safe. And they come home every day. And we'll continue that investment. And I'll continue to work with anybody around the state that wants to set about the business of ensuring that every child, no matter where they live, no matter their zip code, no matter their socioeconomic status, just like a little kid from a small town named Adam Pugh, has an opportunity because of education to be all God's called them to be. I should have been a statistic, but I'm not. And I'm not because of a lot of people that are here today that believed in me and loved me and supported me. Teachers that invested in me. And by God's grace. And so that's what I'll bring to the campaign trail over the next 14 months. So I'll ask that you join me in prayer and support me. I will certainly take your vote because I will need it. And I look forward to meeting you in your community, in your classroom, on your doorstep, and we will do this together. God bless Oklahoma. God bless the United States of America. God bless all of you. Thank you so much for being here.